Hi everybody, this is Bill from howtovanish.com, and I'm going to show you what you can do to recognize that you've been followed by a private investigator and what you can do to stop that private investigator from following you. So first of all, if you're going to be investigated by a private investigator, there's got to be some reason for them to investigate you, to be following you. If there's no real reason, then it's just an expensive hobby for somebody to hire a private investigator to follow you around. Some of the times that it might be likely to have a private investigator follow you is if you filed some kind of workers' comp claim or some kind of claim with an insurance company, or maybe if you're involved in a divorce or child custody issues. I've even heard of a few cases of employers and former employers hiring private investigators because they suspect that their employees might either be stealing or entering into agreements with other companies that they shouldn't be. So unless you're in that kind of situation where there's some real economic incentive for somebody to follow you around and see what you're doing, then you're probably not being followed. But what happens if you are in that kind of situation and somebody might be following you? How do you recognize it? Well, obviously one of the easiest ways to recognize that a private investigator is following you is if you see somebody kind of fishy either in the neighborhood or taking pictures in your neighborhood or just kind of hanging out in places that you wouldn't normally see a person hanging out. It might be common to see a car parked in the neighborhood. Now, they probably won't be parked right across the street from your house. But if you see a car that's not usually in your neighborhood, or maybe if you see somebody sitting in the car for a long time who has no apparent reason for just sitting in the car, that might be somebody following you. You also might get friends or family members who tell you that people have been calling and asking about you for no particular reason. Or if you get a lot of hang-ups when you answer the phone and things like that, those are all signs that a private investigator might be following you. So what do you do if you think a private investigator is following you because there's some reason for them to follow you? How can you avoid that private investigator? One of the best ways to avoid a private investigator is to simply call them out. One of the best things you can do is just politely go up to the person that you think is following you and accuse them of following you. Of course, a private investigator will probably never admit that they're following you around, but they'll know that they've been burned because you've recognized them, and if you see them again, it's going to be really fishy and they're obviously going to be outed. So simply going up to somebody and politely saying, "Why are you following me? I think you're following me," is probably good enough. Maybe a good private investigator would continue and follow you, even though they know they've been burned. Maybe they're going to take other tactics so that they don't have to see you very close or up close. Well, you can also go ahead and follow them. If they follow you, you can follow them. There's nothing wrong with that. But generally, just burning a private investigator will at least ruin the case for that private investigator. They can't covertly view you anymore, trying to catch you doing something that they were hoping to catch. Maybe bending over and picking up something heavy, mistreating your children or something like that. So their case is done. They might hire other private investigators, and then you just restart that process over again. This is Bill from howtovanish.com. Use your powers for good.